The Arizona Cardinals will return to the land of winning double-digit games and make the playoffs in 2025. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals. Damn, 4 days away. 2021 season in New Orleans. Let's get it. So I did bold predictions yesterday. I'm going to break down the entirety of the Arizona Cardinals schedule with win and loss predictions and where they'll finish at the end of the season. And as my cold open read, they will make the playoffs. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, man. Everydayers, if you've been around, thank you. Going into my 9th season, 15 years in sports media. This is your first listen to Locked On Cardinals. Thank you. Maybe make tomorrow your second listen when I do Crossover Thursday with Ross Jackson from Locked On Saints. Friday, I'll do a full game breakdown. This is kind of a weird time. I alluded to it. It's like after Christmas and before New Year's. Nobody knows what day it is. Nobody knows if they should be at work or not because there wasn't a game last week. These first couple days with the holiday included, it's just kind of like, what do we talk about? This is a perfect time to do bold predictions, which I did yesterday. Check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. And today, doing my official win-loss prediction going into the 2025 season. Weeks 14 through 18 in the final segment. Weeks 9 through 13 in the second. And I'm going to do the entirety of the Arizona Cardinals schedule before the bye week, this segment. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Mazda. Just like there's more to every player, more dedication, more attention to detail, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Stay tuned later in the episode for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. So, the Arizona Cardinals start in New Orleans, home against Carolina, on the road against the 49ers, at home against Seattle, and that's where we'll start. So, what we've got here, I'm going to flash it up for the YouTube audience. For those that are listening, I will read it to you. As I mentioned, the first 4 weeks, and then week 5 at home against Tennessee, week 6 on the road in Indy, week 7 at home against Green Bay, and then week 8 is the bye. So, week 1 in New Orleans, I'm counting that as a win. This is like when people say, oh, is it a must win for the Cardinals to start out week 1? No. Can the Cardinals make the playoffs and still lose week 1? Yeah. Will it be a terrible look if they lose? Also, yes. So when I say the Cardinals must win in week 1, it's not because they got to win to make the playoffs. Must wins only really matter when making the playoffs is in the balance. Like Carolina last year was a must win, obviously, and they ended up losing in overtime. It's a must win in week 1 because the Cardinals should win this game and it'd be a bad look if they didn't. With, a second-year quarterback, a first-time head coach, and a roster that doesn't nearly have as much talent as the Arizona Cardinals roster does. Week 2, Bryce Young coming to town. I have this as a win for the Cardinals as well. Now, Carolina has been a 4-letter word for the Arizona Cardinals ever since the NFC Championship game. Can't seem to get a win against Carolina. I do think that they will break that streak. Week 2 at home, riding the momentum of hopefully a convincing win this Sunday. Week 3 on the road in San Francisco. I have that as a win as well. Cardinals start 3-0. The Cardinals fare well at Levi Stadium. This isn't because the San Francisco 49ers are a walkover. I don't know why people think that Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, it's a good team. It's a top-heavy team. It's got a lot of rookies they're starting this year. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be a walkover. I do still have it as a win. Now, short week, Thursday Night Football, week 4, Seattle comes to town. I have this as a loss. There's something about the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals that that Seattle Seahawks have kind of reigned supreme over the Cardinals as of late. This is far removed from when the Cardinals were underdogs and would go up to CenturyLink Field, which is what it was at the time, I think. And Chandler Jones would have 3 sacks and the Cardinals would win a game late in the season that nobody expected them to win. I have it as a loss. I don't know why, but I have it as a loss. Short week, have it as a loss. Week 5 at home against Cam Ward and Tennessee, I have that as a win. Tennessee's a team in transition. They're going across country. Like, this is a game the Cardinals should win. Week 6 in Indy, Daniel Jones. We'll see if it's Anthony Richardson, if it's Daniel Jones, if it's somebody else. The Cardinals have a better roster. I don't care that they're traveling. Like, that should be a win as well. So that's the Cardinals 5-1 through 6 weeks. And then week 7 at home against Green Bay. It's not even about Micah Parsons, really. It's just, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love. They've got a million receivers. They've got a pretty good defense. Now it's elevated, even though they lost Jair Alexander, getting Micah Parsons to partner with Rashawn Gary. And then they lost Kenny Clark. I don't know. It's just one of those that feels off going into the bye. But with all that said, the Cardinals start 5-2 going into their bye week, which is ideal. The one, I don't see the Cardinals going 3-4, 2-5, anything like that through these first 7 weeks. Can they go 4-3? Sure. I don't know why people think that this is, it's such an easy start to the season. There are a couple games that are winnable, of course, but they've got San Francisco, they've got Seattle, they've got Green Bay. That's 3 out of the 7. So I don't know why it's like, the Cardinals should start 6-1. Let's just set and forget it. No. No. 2 division opponents, and Green Bay is not a cakewalk. Regardless of what you think about Sam Darnold, regardless of what you think about the 49ers in their pseudo-transitionary phase with their roster, there are Pro Bowlers and All-Pros peppered across the entirety of those 2 rosters. So the worst-case scenario is the Cardinals start 3-4 or worse. If they start 3-4 or worse and everybody's healthy and that happens, you can start to sound the alarms then. But I don't talk about that a lot because the chances of that happening as compared to years past is much, much smaller. The opportunity for that to happen would defy rational thought. And this isn't, again, rose-colored glasses. This isn't rainbows and butterflies up your rear end for no reason. The Cardinals have grown and raised the floor of this team over the last couple of years. They've got a lot of good players. They haven't had a lot of good players over the last couple of years. So if the Cardinals start 3-4 or worse in the first 7 weeks going into their bye week, that's a sound the alarm situation. It doesn't mean that their season's lost. But it's something that, needs to be monitored. What do I think? I'm picking 5-2. You would be upset, but palatable with 4-3. You'd be upset, but it would be palatable for a 4-3. 5-2 is the sweet spot. Anything better than that, you're in good shape. The overarching theme here as we go into the next 5 weeks, this is the perfect setup to find out for sure. The perfect setup. The easier portion of the schedule, it's not easy, but the easier portion of the schedule is early. Then they got their bye. Then it gets moderate, and then it gets difficult at the end with 2 games at the end of the year on the road against Seattle or Cincinnati and the Rams, which I'll talk about. It's like, this is what you want to see from this team. You want to see them overcome the final boss of easy, medium, hard setups when it comes to schedules because they haven't been able to do it yet. So if the Cardinals start 5-2, it's a good start going into their bye week. The next season within the season, weeks 9 through 13, are like moving day at the Masters on Saturday. It's how you position yourself for that late season push. And the Cardinals play a more difficult stretch, but nothing where they can't stack a couple wins. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day, weeks 9 through 13, next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by our friends at Mazda. This is Mazda's moving the game forward. Brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible. They remind us to go that extra yard, shift into that next gear, and keep moving the game forward. For me, it's going to be 4th downs, okay? As a team for the Cardinals pushing forward, they've got a defense like a big brother that can back them up if they don't convert. This is how you take an offense into power drive. You don't punt on 4th and 1 from your own 45. The new age of the NFL is going for it, keeping the ball and moving forward, especially with guys like James Conner, Trey Benson, Kyler Murray. Short yardage situation, going forward on 4th down, even in your own territory, is a way the Cardinals can move their game forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is also brought to you by Supply House. When the opening whistle blows on a new repair, get your crew moving forward with Supply House. Order today and see parts on your doorstep tomorrow. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Their real-time inventory and honest lead times keep you from punting projects, while their industry-leading customer service always has your blind side. You need fast parts for a project? Supply House has next-day delivery. That's a game changer, man. When you have a project, you can't wait on parts. Next day, say you order it midday, next day it's there. You're able to keep the momentum going. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com to sign up for free and use promo code SHNFL5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals, hit that subscribe button, man. Turn notifications on. You can see my big dumb face. You get a notification for when my big dumb face comes on. What could be better? What could be better than that? Honestly. Who throws a shoe? Honestly. I watch Austin Powers. I don't care. One of the most underappreciated comedic genius performances by Mike Myers in those movies. Out of this world. Anyways, we're back. Weeks 9 through 13. This is where it starts to get fun. So after the bye week, the Arizona Cardinals travel to Dallas, then travel to Seattle, home against the 49ers, home against Jacksonville, and on the road in Tampa Bay. So for those that are watching on YouTube, I have the Cardinals winning in Dallas, losing in Seattle, winning in San Francisco, or winning versus San Francisco, winning at home against Jacksonville, and losing to Tampa Bay. So the Cardinals have the Cowboys number. It's just kind of been a thing. The most glaring one, the most memorable one, obviously, was in Dallas. I think it was a Monday night game also when Andy Dalton was quarterback. I think Kyler Murray completed 9 passes and they scored a whole bunch of points. There were turnovers. The Cardinals just have their number. Kyler Murray plays well in Texas, as he always has. I just have that as a win. The Cardinals are more put together than the Cowboys. And now with Micah Parsons gone, you would think this offense would eat pretty handily against them. Then on the road against Seattle, I have them losing that game. Okay, so it's a short week as they play Monday night. They haven't fared very well in Seattle as of late. I know it's Sam Darnold. I know DK Metcalf's gone. I know Tyler Lockett's gone. I know it's a different team. Mike McDonald has those guys, puffing their chests on defense. They run the ball well. The Cardinals were embarrassing against the Seahawks last year. So I have the Cardinals losing both games to Seattle. And while it's great that they play both of their games against both Seattle and San Francisco within the first 11 weeks of the season, losing to Seattle twice ain't great. On the other side, when the Cardinals host the 49ers in week 11, immediately following week 10 in Seattle, I have the Cardinals beating San Francisco at home. So that means they sweep San Francisco. And sweeping San Francisco means more than losing both to Seattle, in my opinion, because I think with San Francisco's pseudo easy, well, they have the easiest schedule in the league, winning both, having that tiebreaker against the 49ers, if it comes to that for the division crown or for a wild card spot for that matter, means a lot for this team. It means a lot for this team. Then they're home against Jacksonville. I have this as a win as well. You don't really know what Jacksonville is. They don't know who their starting running back is. They don't know what Travis Hunter is. They don't know what the defense is, if it's what it looked like towards the tail end of last season, or if they're going to give up a whole boatload of points. I still have it as a win for the Cardinals. And that going into week 13, that puts them at 8-3. And then in week 13, going to Tampa Bay, it's a tough place to play. That's a high-powered offense. It's well coached. a familiar face with Todd Bowles over there. I just have that as a loss. I think Tampa Bay, we saw what Tampa Bay could be last year. And I think another year, you have a Emeka Egbuka, you have another year of Bucky Irving. If Tristan Wirfs stays healthy, I mean, that's going to be a good team, even though their defense will give up a lot of points. So I do have the Cardinals losing in Tampa Bay week 13, bringing their record through 13 weeks to 8-4 plus their bye week. And like one thing across the overarching part, I said overarching twice now, over the entirety of this schedule, like one of the biggest issues the Cardinals have had is during home games, having opposing teams overtake State Farm Stadium. But when you look at who they're playing at home this year, Carolina, Tennessee, Green Bay is the outlier. So Carolina, Tennessee, Jacksonville, those teams don't have fans that really travel that well. So on top of people, hopefully, who have season tickets or who want to go see this team play live, will stack State Farm Stadium with actual Cardinals fans. They're not playing the Steelers. They're playing the Packers, who travel really well. They're not playing teams like the Bears and the Browns. And regardless of how good those teams are, like stacking that State Farm Stadium with opposing fans doesn't help, the home field advantage. So obviously San Francisco travels well, Seattle travels well, but as opposed to what it could be, playing the AFC South at home helps with the home field advantage. Now, moving into the last 5 games of the year, if the Cardinals are 8-4 going into week 14, there's a good chance they're either tied or at the top of the AFC or the NFC West. You would think they're in that vicinity, maybe one game back, maybe tied, maybe leading. And that's exactly where you'd hope they'd be. If they're 7-5, like the one thing they can't be right here is 6-6. Because with how difficult the tail end of the season is, and having to play the Rams twice, and having to play Atlanta, having to play Houston, having to play Cincinnati, which I'll get to in the final segment, you want to stack as many wins as you possibly can beforehand. And of course, if you're going to win anything, if you're going to make the playoffs, if you're going to win a playoff game, you're going to have to beat teams like this. It's not the most murderous rogue gauntlet that we've seen this team go through over the last couple seasons. But you want to stack as many wins as possible. And with my prediction here, the Cardinals are 8-4 going into week 14. That is a pretty sweet spot to be in. How will it end up? The Cardinals are going to make the playoffs. Already teased it and said yes. How many wins will they end up with? I'll discuss it next as we wrap up here the actual prediction show with all of the cards on the table, no pun intended, 0 pun intended. This is it. Week 1 is 96 hours away. And I'll wrap up my prediction show here next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. The NFL season is literally right around the corner, and you can feel the buzz. Fantasy football season's here. You better be texting your buddies, talking crap. You have one day today to finish up your draft before the league starts tomorrow. So if you're researching, drafting, or whatever, get to Yahoo Fantasy and get a league started. This year I'm playing fantasy football on Yahoo, and you should too, whether you're a first timer or a veteran creating your millionth league. I did my 3rd draft this past Monday, and all 3 of my leagues are on Yahoo Fantasy. I've got 1 dynasty league, 2 redraft leagues, and I'm stoked. I drafted in the first position in 1, drafted in the 10th position in the other, and 11th position in the 3rd. Yahoo Fantasy makes it so easy, man. With season kickoff tomorrow, now is the time to start, which, there's so many ways to compete. Like the new Guillotine League that I've talked about in these live reads, the lowest scoring team gets eliminated from the league every week. It's absolutely bonkers. I've never done anything like it before. You want to play instantly with friends? Try the new draft with friends mode. You have no crew? No problem. Join a public league, the easiest way to play. The NFL season kicks off September 4th, So don't wait. Start your league now. Draft now at yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. That's yahoofantasy.com/lockedonnfl. And finally, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season's almost here, and FanDuel's making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You want to bet on the Cardinals win total? Want to bet on Kyler Murray winning MVP, the Cardinals winning the Super Bowl, or Jonathan Gannon winning Coach of the Year? You can do all of it over at FanDuel. Single game parlays, whatever it may be, FanDuel's got you covered for it all. And if you're a new customer and you bet $5 and you win your first bet, you'll get $300 in bonus bets across the app if that first $5 bet wins. So you're ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. Bet. At Clancy's Corner on Twitter. At Locked on AZ Cards on Twitter. Cardinal Squad Show tonight, 6 o'clock Arizona time. Myself, Jamil Douglas, Ben Garcia, will be doing our preview show. We will also be doing bold predictions like I did yesterday and our win-loss, comparing the three of us, what we think it's going to be. We'll go game by game, talk about some other stuff. It's going to be fun. It'll be live here on YouTube. So yeah, check it out. Much more interactive, a little bit more free-flowing, even though we've obviously got our topics that we discuss. Join us. And this is the last time, and you'll actually get to see it in real time on Sunday. The cadence after each game. Cardinals game is over. I go live here on Locked on Cardinals YouTube for about 15 or 20 minutes, give instant reaction to the game. Immediately following that, the Cardinals Squad Show will go live for an hour. Join us. It's going to be an hour, pretty much an hour and a half live after each game this year. So you don't want to miss it. So subscribe to YouTube channel at search Locked on Arizona Cardinals. Weeks 14 through 18. This is where it gets sticky wickets. Okay. The Cardinals in week 14, after going on the road in Tampa Bay, host the Rams. Then they go on the road to Houston. They host Atlanta. And then on the road in week 17 in Cincinnati, where it's probably going to be cold. And then on the road to finish the season at SoFi Stadium to play the Rams. So week 14, I have the Cardinals beating the Rams at home, moving to 9-4. Week 15, I have the Cardinals going on the road to Houston, getting a W, moving to 10-4. And then week 16, hosting the Atlanta Falcons, another win. I have the Cardinals moving to 11-4, and then losing in Cincinnati and on the road against the Rams to finish the season 11-6. Those last two games are going to be the toughest of the season, in my opinion, for the Cardinals. Not necessarily because of the opponents specifically, but because they're both on the road and because everything is on the line. Everything is on the line. Is 11-6 going to be good enough to win the division? Maybe. Is 11-6 going 3-3 in the division good enough to win a tiebreak to win the division? Maybe. I think 11 wins the division. I think it gets there because I think the NFC West is going to be incestuous. They're going to beat everybody's going to beat everybody. It's a pretty level playing field. Everybody's got their weaknesses. Everybody's got their strengths. And it's not like, that's not a cliche thing to say. Like, it hasn't been like that. San Francisco's kind of led and the Rams have kind of led the charge, and Seattle has been like the Steelers. They just win 10 games and they make the playoffs. Don't really know how it happens. It just kind of happens. They're really good at one-score games. Just kind of happens. We'll see what happens with Sam Darnold. If it's a drop-off, if it's an elevation from Geno Smith, we'll see what, Brock Purdy can do with, a 46-year-old Trent Williams, and see if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. See if Matthew Stafford back holds up for 17 weeks. The Cardinals are healthy. They're young. They're ready to rip. And this is the year, if they were to regain supremacy over the NFC West, the stars are aligning for it to take place if they're able to take care of business. So I have the Cardinals finishing 11-6 and starting 5-2, going into the bye, winning 3 out of their next 5, and then 3 out of their next 5. So, I mean, if the Cardinals finish 11-6 and they make the playoffs and they host a playoff game and they win a playoff game, whether they host or not in the wild card round, or what, if they're on the road or if they host the first playoff week and they win, we're talking probably contract extensions for Jonathan Gannon, Monty Osfort, and potentially Kyler Murray. Maybe not a full-blown 5-year contract extension. I'm not saying that. I don't think that would happen unless they make it to the Super Bowl. I don't see that happening because he's got a couple years left. But I do think a really solid restructure where you can kick the can down the road a little bit. You give him some more guaranteed money up front. There's an out after the 26th season. If that works, And if they win 11 games, and if they win a playoff game, or if they lose a playoff game close, if Kyler Murray's numbers are really good and they lose, like, or if his numbers are bad and they win, it doesn't matter. I think it's 6-1. You're talking contract extensions. You're giving Jonathan Gannon a 3-year contract extension. You're giving Monty Osborne a 3-year contract extension. And they're both under contract through 2026. The last thing you want is a sitting duck head coach. And if Michael Bidwell extended Cliff Kingsbury, yeah, I think if the Cardinals make the playoffs this year, Jonathan Gannon's getting an extension. If they don't, if they win under 10 games and miss the playoffs, anything is up in the air. Jonathan Gannon is not getting fired. Monty Osborne's not getting fired. Monty Osborne's done an incredible job. The question becomes, do you officially move off of Kyler Murray, or is Drew Petzing the scapegoat? And then thrown into all of this is injuries and stuff like that. Like, if Kyler Murray gets hurt and misses extended period of time, that could spell the end. Unless, it's whatever. It's in the middle of the season. Jacoby Brissett goes 500. Kyler Murray comes back fully healthy and they win the division and make the playoffs as if nothing happened. That's obviously the outlier there. But I think it's pretty cut and dry. If the Cardinals finish 11-6, win a playoff game, contract extensions. Yeah, I think that's about it. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Tomorrow, crossover Thursday with my buddy Ross Jackson from Locked On Saints. We'll do biggest matchups, biggest storylines, predictions. It's going to be really fun. This is one of 17, unless the Cardinals make the playoffs, where we're doing these crossovers every Thursday. It starts tomorrow with my buddy from Locked On Saints, Ross Jackson. We're almost there. Hang tight. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.